The 5th year of a marriage akin to bereavement. A beta capable of conception. I implored Xin Jingshan to take precautions. He has always turned a deaf ear. My lips have been brutally crushed. How much better it would be if President Yan's lips uttered other sounds. On the day the contract expired, a torrential downpour lashed the outdoors. I took with me an umbrella and a white cat. 1. The white cat is named Mao Qiu, a stray that Xin Jingshan picked up after a night of drunken revelry. Nearly a year has passed, yet Mao Qiu has never shown him affection. I cradled the cat in my arms, unfurled an umbrella, and ventured into the curtain of rain, pausing at the nearest bus stop. Although it was merely 9 in the morning, the sky resembled dusk. After summoning a ride, I found myself waiting for an eternity. The phone rang. It was Xin Jingshan. I declined to answer. As I settled into the car, Mao Qiu peeked out from my embrace. The phone continued to ring incessantly. I removed the SIM card and tossed it into the storage compartment. Outside the window, the rain mist swirled. I tightened my grip on the little cat. Mao Qiu, we are free now. 2. I purchased this house after securing the first project for the company I took over. One of Xin Jingshan's stipulations was that we must cohabitate. Whenever he was away on business or occupied with someone else, I would return here, bringing Mao Qiu along. This place is truly my home. Xin Jingshan might be aware of it, or perhaps he is not. He shows little concern for my private affairs. His only interest lies in the fulfillment of his own desires. I feel as though I am nothing more than a commodified outlet for his cravings. 200 million. For a year. Time has flown by. 3. My first official encounter with Xin Jingshan occurred at a soiree. He and a group of wealthy friends were teasing an omega, seemingly engaged in some wager. The omega, resembling a university student, bore a flushed visage. Someone whistled, inviting me to join. I cast a disdainful glance at Xin Jingshan before escorting the omega away. That night, I was ensnared and locked in a room. The person who entered was Xin Jingshan. I knew escape was futile and had no intention of fleeing. The following morning, I struck him with a wine bottle, crimson liquid saturating the pillow, mingling with the fresh red of his blood. After dialing emergency services, I departed, anticipating his retribution. It was not until 3 months later that he stood before me. At that time, a project my company had been preparing for 2 years faced complications, with investors withdrawing one after another. Xin Jingshan presented a contract. Upon signing, 200 million would be instantly deposited. I found myself with no alternatives. Yet, the moment I signed was when the nightmare truly began. For Xin Jingshan demanded to see my medical report, specifying that I visit a private hospital owned by his cousin, Lu Jinshu. Whether it was fortune or misfortune, as a beta, I discovered that I had well-developed reproductive organs. Once composed, I implored Dr. Lu not to disclose this to Xin Jingshan and requested 2 boxes of medication. I felt grateful that he did not pry further. He offered to leave his contact information, saying I could reach out anytime. I gazed down at the string of numbers and name on the paper, both beautifully inscribed. I smiled faintly, carefully folded the paper, and tucked it into my pocket, expressing my thanks. 5. Xin Jingshan is a vigorous alpha. I initially believed he would only subject me to physical torment, yet the psychological strain proved far more profound. He never employs protection, always intent on eliciting mortifying sounds from me. He revels in my loss of control, my distress, my agony. I would rather bite my own flesh until it bled. Yet Xin Jingshan would only grin with malevolent delight. Yan Hui, your blood only excites me further. Sweat trickled into my eyes, obscuring his visage. I realized I had perhaps provoked a madman. The first time Xin Jingshan brought someone home and invited me to join, I kicked him. The consequence was being confined to the adjacent room that night, forced to eavesdrop. Indeed, I could hear the calls, yet inexplicably, it made me want to laugh. Xin Jingshan was relentless, akin to a lunatic devoid of reason. 2 months ago, he returned home inebriated, rifling through my medications in the fridge, mocking me with a smirk. Yan Hui, you're not actually becoming an omega, are you? It's prescribed by a doctor. Which doctor? A psychiatrist? Your cousin. Damn it. Don't mention him. The other day when I took you home, you were flirting with him, and I haven't even settled that score with you. Madness. I reached for the medications, but he snatched them away, discarding them into the drain. I don't care what kind of drugs they are. The pheromones of an alpha had no effect on me, yet my stamina could not withstand him. As he thrust me onto the bed, I contemplated resisting until a searing pain shot through me. My neck ached, and nausea surged within me. Fear instinctively compelled me to crawl forward, yet it was a futile effort. I could distinctly feel something within me being violated, a chill creeping into my heart. Beyond the pain, there was an overwhelming sense of despair. At dawn, I resorted to the same tactic, striking him with an ashtray. This time, I did not call for help. Death would be preferable. 6. A cat's meow pulled me back to reality. I glanced out the window. The evening glow adorned half the sky. After feeding Mao Chiu, I ordered takeout. The doorbell rang. I opened the door briefly before quickly shutting it again, momentarily locking eyes with a shoe wedged in the doorway. I hesitated but eventually reopened the door, stepping back to allow Shin Jingshan to enter. Why did you leave? I remained silent, my gaze fixed on the scar on his forehead. A flicker of panic crossed Shin Jingshan's features as he urged, Yan Hui, last time was impulsive on my part. You were upset too, right? Let us settle this and return home together. Mr. Shin, the contract has expired, and the transaction is complete. I am returning to my own home. Is there a problem with that? Shin Jingshan furrowed his brow, anger boiling in his eyes. Suddenly, a repugnant thought crossed my mind. Or is it that Mr. Shin has developed feelings for me and cannot bear to see me leave? Shin Jingshan's expression fractured, clearly disgusted. Just then, the takeout arrived. I averted my gaze, retrieved the food, and closed the door. 7. I took a few bites of the takeout but found little appetite. In truth, I had lost my appetite over the past month. Last Monday, after an early morning meeting, I rushed to the restroom and vomited violently. At that moment, I sensed an ominous premonition brewing within me, and now that feeling had intensified. I dialed a number. Doctor. Lu, it's me. Will you be at the hospital tomorrow? Yes, what's the matter? I would like your assistance for a checkup. Sure, if it's not urgent. Come by after 2 in the afternoon when it's less crowded. Alright, thank you. Dr. Lu is also an alpha, and based on his physique and appearance, he exudes an air of authority. Yet, through our interactions, I found him to be polite and gentle. He specializes in reproductive medicine, so the examinations I sought were inevitable. His demeanor remained unchanged from when I previously sought his help, never probing too deeply. During festive gatherings, the Shin family would host banquets, and Shin Jingshan would drag me along to deflect the elders' marriage inquiries. Dr. Lu and Shin Jingshan are cousins, and when I encountered him at these events, we merely exchanged nods. More than 2 months ago, on Shin Jingshan's father's birthday, I was also compelled to attend. Dr. Lu noticed my pallor and engaged me in conversation, which in Shin Jingshan's eyes became a flirtation. Madness. 8. In the hospital's ultrasound room, Dr. Lu handed me a box of tissues. I took a few, wiping the residual gel from my abdomen. When I looked up, I caught Dr. Lu's gaze lingering on my belly. What's wrong? His expression briefly faltered before he averted his eyes and smiled. Nothing much, just a bit of gel on your shirt. I lowered my clothing and neatly disposed of the tissues in the trash. Doesn't tea matter? Dr. Lu led me to his office. Mr. Yen, you have just seen the B ultrasound images. Indeed, there is a gestational sac within your reproductive cavity. Moreover, considering various indicators, this is a remarkably healthy life. Yes, I do not intend to keep it. Dr. Lu clasped his hands on the table and paused for a moment before speaking. Mr. Yen, although you possess a complete reproductive system, you are, after all, a beta, and the probability of pregnancy is quite low. If you forego this opportunity and wish to have children in the future, it will be nearly impossible. I hope you consider this carefully. There was a lush green plant thriving on the desk, and I couldn't resist touching its leaves. Dr. Lu, I have made my decision. Still do not wish to keep it? Yes, I do not. Dr. Lu nodded and handed me a medical report. Based on the size of the gestational sac, the optimal time for a medical abortion has already passed. If you wish to terminate it, a surgical procedure is required. Given the anatomical structure of a beta, both vacuum aspiration and curettage are not applicable. Only laparoscopy can be performed. Will I be able to leave right after the procedure? Dr. Lu smiled wryly. Post-operative recovery will require a hospital stay of approximately 2 to 3 days, so you need to arrange your schedule accordingly. I contemplated my work commitments over the next few days and inquired, can the surgery be scheduled for tomorrow? Yes, it can. As I approached the door, a thought crossed my mind. Dr. Lu, Please do not inform Shin Jingshan about this matter. Our relationship was never conventional, and now that it has ended, it is better to avoid unnecessary complications. Seeing Dr. Lu nod in agreement, I turned the doorknob and stepped outside. A nurse happened to pass by and looked surprised upon seeing me, peering inside. Dr. Lu, why are you still here? Aren't you on leave this afternoon? A friend has come to the hospital with an issue. I will be leaving shortly. Oh, I see, then I'll get back to my duties. All right. When I turned back, Dr. Lu had already removed his white coat and was carrying his bag toward the exit. Shall we leave together, Mr. Yen? The person before me smiled gently, and I couldn't help but curve my lips into a smile as well. Dr. Lu, since we are friends now, let us drop the formalities. Dr. Lu raised an eyebrow and closed the door behind him. Let us go, Yen Hui. The following day, post-surgery, a nurse had just checked on me. Lu Jinshu had arrived once again. I half-joked, Dr. Lu, since yesterday you have come 6 or 7 times, and many nurses are speculating whether I am your relative. In truth, the whispers were more inclined to suggest that I was his partner. One of the nurses who worked alongside Lu Jinshu even remarked that she had never seen him smile so much at anyone. Lu Jinshu, unusually, did not respond but checked my wound instead. You are recovering very well. We can consider discharge soon. Do you wish to leave? Now? Yes. Lu Jinshu went to handle the discharge paperwork, and when he returned to the ward, I was busy packing my belongings. Thank you, Dr. Lu. You may return to your duties. I'm not busy. I'm waiting for you. I turned to see Lu Jinshu standing at the door, dressed in a shirt and trousers. Are you off work? Yes, in 10 minutes you can take your time. Was he going to leave with me? Upon exiting the hospital building, I mentioned that I hadn't driven, and he insisted on taking me home. The journey was delayed by over half an hour due to traffic, and we arrived home just before 8. As I stepped into the elevator, I contemplated ordering takeout for dinner to treat Lu Jinshu. However, as I exited the elevator, my thoughts abruptly halted. The figure stood at my doorstep. It was Shin Jingshan. What's wrong? Instinctively, I raised my hand to shield Lu Jinshu. Dr. Lu, thank you for your assistance today. I will treat you another day. Brother. Footsteps approached from behind, accompanied by a derisive chuckle. Yan Hui, don't tell me you ran into him by chance. Shin Jingshan stepped into the brightest light, allowing me to see his current state. His face was slightly flushed, veins protruding at his temples, and his eyes were filled with agitation. This was a sign that his sensitivity phase was approaching. Lu Jinshu, also an alpha, likely recognized this as well. He stood close to me, tension radiating from his muscles. I gently tugged at his sleeve, signaling him to leave first. I was acutely aware of Shin Jingshan's purpose for seeking me out. The first time he came to me during his sensitivity phase, I found it peculiar. As a beta, I could not provide him with pheromones. I felt uncomfortable, and so did he. The first time I couldn't gauge his psychological state, but the second time I took note. Shin Jingshan would gaze deeply into my eyes for a long time, then cover them and kiss me, as if he were looking through me at another person. With that suspicion, even in my pain, I couldn't help but laugh. It turned out that even Shin Jingshan, who wielded power in Yunjin City, could experience unrequited love. And now, with his sensitivity phase upon him, he sought me out for a third time. But I was under no obligation to entertain him again. Shin Jingshan, I hope you understand that we are through. Just leave. Don't wait for me to call someone to escort you away. As I passed by him, he suddenly shouted, Yan Hui, in such a hurry to sever ties with me, what is it? Is there someone else in your heart? I wonder who the hell would want someone like me, both inside and out. A pained grunt followed from behind. I turned to see Shin Jingshan on the ground, leaning on one hand, with Lu Jinshu standing nearby, his expression dark. Angry Lu Jinshu, why are you still? In the blink of an eye, the two had already engaged in a scuffle. Lu Jinshu, taller and more agile than Shin Jingshan, landed several blows, leaving Shin Jingshan unable to retaliate. Lu Jinshu, are you really going to hit me over a beta? Have you lost your mind? Shin Jingshan knelt on the ground, clutching his abdomen. Lu Jinshu glanced at me. Let us go inside. I opened the door but stood at the entrance without entering. Lu Jinshu looked at me, then back at the groaning Shin Jingshan, and delivered a kick before approaching me. Should I call 120? No need. He 1T die. I nodded. Under Shin Jingshan's resentful gaze, I closed the door. Sit on the sofa and wait a moment. I felt a gentle tug on my arm. Lu Jinshu's expression had returned to normal. Did I frighten you just now? I paused for a moment, blinking before smiling. Not at all. Had I not seen how capable you are, I would have gone inside to fetch some tools. I pointed to his brow and the corner of his mouth. Sit tight. I'll go get the medicine box. As I turned, I was suddenly pulled back, and shadows enveloped me. Before I could react, warm lips met mine, merely resting there without further movement. I involuntarily softened my breathing. When I regained my composure, Lu Jinshu's lips brushed against my forehead, a gentle touch. Then, one hand wrapped around my shoulders while the other encircled my waist. Lu Jinshu was taller than me, compelling me to tilt my head slightly upward. I slowly raised my hand, then let it drop. Do you mind? The arm around my waist tightened a fraction, our proximity allowing me to feel each other's heartbeat. After a considerable pause, I heard him say, I often wonder if I had chosen a different path. Perhaps in business instead of medicine, would the story have unfolded differently? It was a rather disjointed statement, yet I understood it. However, I had no answer for him. I patted his lower back, indicating for him to release me. You are an excellent doctor. Do not dwell on the what-ifs. The once tense atmosphere began to dissipate. As I strolled into the living room, I jested. After you left Xinjingshan in such a state, how will you ever share a meal at the same table again? I've long wished to deal with him. Were it not for my uncle's influence, I wouldn't even bother with him. What enmity runs so deep? Every time I see you, I realized it was time to halt the conversation. Pretending not to have heard, Lu Jinshu took the medicine box from my hands and headed toward the bathroom. I retrieved my phone and followed him. What would you like to eat? I can order takeout. Don't mind me. Order what you enjoy. Keep it light. When the dishes were served, Lu Jinshu frowned. Is this what you consider light? Amid a spread of fried and stir-fried dishes, I instinctively placed the boiled greens in front of him. It's my first time treating you to a meal. I can't let you leave on an empty stomach. I could manage with just plain noodles. How could one respond to that? A smile sufficed. After dinner, he willingly washed the dishes while I sat on the sofa, cradling the fluffy ball of fur and letting my mind wander. The little creature was quite fond of him, having nestled by his feet during the meal. Perhaps it too discerned the good from the bad. After Lu Jinshu emerged from the kitchen, he grabbed his coat and headed for the door. Are you leaving? Yes. I shall not intrude further. Rest well. All right. Yet, the sound of the door opening was delayed. I approached and inquired what's wrong. Lu Jinshu wore a hesitant expression. Yanhui, may I ask you out for a meal in the future? My subconscious urged me to refuse outright. Perhaps it was the sincerity in Lu Jinshu's gaze that made the words of denial linger on my tongue, transforming into an ambiguous response. Let's discuss it later. The company had over 10 new products poised for launch, and I had been exceedingly busy for nearly a month. Lu Jinshu had invited me out twice, but after much deliberation I declined. He was a genuinely good person, deserving of someone even better than I. Just after concluding the final meeting before the product launch, I received a call from my younger brother, Yanju. He informed me that our father had suffered a myocardial infarction and was currently in the hospital undergoing emergency treatment. Upon my arrival, the hospital room was filled with numerous people, including Yan Hongxing's lawyer and 2 assistants. Yan Hongxing had regained consciousness. Upon seeing me enter, he weakly lifted his eyelids for a brief glance. Lawyer Zhang immediately positioned himself in front of me. Young master, Mr. Yan does not wish for you to be here. Before I could react, someone behind me pulled at my sleeve. It was Yanju. Brother, father summoned them to draft a will. Let us step outside. I nodded and turned away. A hoarse voice broke the silence. Leave Yanju. I did not turn back but continued to the door, albeit at a slow pace, perhaps feeling the weight of many gazes upon me. Behind me, Lawyer Zhang's voice arose, but I paid little attention until that hoarse voice pinned me at the threshold. Upon my death, all assets under my name shall be inherited by my son, Yanju. My son, Yanju. It felt as though a bucket of ice water had been poured over me. I gripped the doorknob tightly, then released it, only to grasp it again. I could hear my own voice trembling. Father, am I not also your son? The answer was a resolute repetition. Upon my death, all assets under my name shall be inherited by my son, Yanju. Yanju was the child of Yan Hongxing and his second wife, a source of pride for him as an alpha. The reason Yan Hongxing entrusted the company to me was that Yanju was still too young. He couldn't bear to hand over a business that had suffered losses for 3 consecutive years. In the 5 years since I took over the company, I had never faltered. A year ago, a significant crisis arose, and Yan Hongsheng remained a passive observer. I had even signed an agreement with Xin Jingshan to turn the tide. This company bore the fruits of my mother's lifelong dedication. Yan Hongsheng, who had no love for my mother, naturally held no affection for me either. I had envisioned that after Yan Hongsheng's passing, he would leave half the company to Yanju, but it should not be all of it. A flurry of hurried footsteps approached from behind. Brother, father may not be entirely lucid right now. Please do not take his words to heart. I too believe that his actions are unjust. Perhaps there is some misunderstanding. Please talk to father when you get the chance, all right? Yanju was well shielded by Yan Hongsheng, his thoughts untainted. If I were to contest this, he might not end up with even half of the assets. Yet, witnessing the anxiety etched on his face, I suddenly found myself disinterested in the dispute. No need, Yanju. Let it be as he said. Brother, and also, I smiled faintly. From now on, regardless of whether Yan Hongsheng lives or dies, he need not contact me again. Upon exiting the hospital, I was struck by the realization that I had little left to occupy my time. The sunlight was somewhat blinding, and a cool breeze occasionally swept by. An agreeable day. I should visit my mother. Kneeling before my mother's grave, I had countless words to express, but only one escaped my lips. I'm sorry, mother. I did my best. After leaving the cemetery, I stopped by a supermarket and purchased a plethora of ingredients. Back at home, I prepared every dish I knew how to make. At 10 in the evening, as I stared at the table laden with food, my appetite vanished. After cleaning up, I shared a portion with the fluffy ball and took the remainder to share with the stray cats and dogs downstairs. Returning home, I lay on my bed, and it was already 2 in the morning. Sleep eluded me. At 8:30, my phone began to vibrate. By 9, I answered one of the calls. Hello, Mr. Yen? Thank heavens you finally picked up. The product launch is about to begin. Where are you? Should I send someone to fetch you? No need. Huh? What do you mean, Mr. Yen? The launch is waiting for you to host. I won't be attending the launch. Just send someone else. It's fine if we don't hold it. Yen, Mr. Yen, are you joking? Hello? Are you even listening? After hanging up, I switched off my phone. After some thought, I sent in my resignation to the board. That evening, I turned my phone back on, and it rang incessantly. As it returned to normal, an unfamiliar number called in. Mr. Yen, I heard that your company's product launch this morning was nothing short of spectacular. And now news about your company is flying around, causing your stock price to plummet. Who are you? Yanui. Don't play dumb. It's only been a short while since you left, and you can't even recognize my voice. Oh, Mr. Shin. Yanui. Listen closely. I'm calling to tell you that I intend to acquire Yen Corporation. You plan to acquire Yen Corporation? What, are you flustered? Of course. If you return obediently, I might consider abandoning the acquisition. Shin Jingshan, you actually called just to share a joke. I held the phone and laughed for quite some time before responding. Suit yourself. I heated some fish for the fluffy ball and ordered a drink for myself. Half an hour later, the doorbell rang, accompanied by the delivery of the alcohol and Lu Jinshu. I smiled and greeted him. Care for a drink? Once inside, I laid out 10 bottles of wine on the carpet and opened them all. I shoved one bottle into Lu Jinshu's hands and cheerfully clinked with him. Drink up. I tilted my head back and downed half a bottle. The liquid coursed down my esophagus into my stomach, igniting a fiery pain. Yet I craved the sensation. I swallowed the remaining half in one go. Lu Jinshu remained in his original posture, utterly motionless. I smiled and inquired, do you not have a favorite? What do you enjoy drinking? I shall order it for you. After pulling out my phone, Lu Jinshu unexpectedly spoke. Yanhui, it's all right not to smile when you're unhappy. Lowering my gaze, I fell silent for a moment before nodding. I grasped a bottle of liquor and continued to drink. It seemed that my laughter failed to endear me to anyone. The sensation in my stomach gradually faded. Suddenly, my hand felt empty. 3 bottles, that should suffice. I glanced at the empty bottles strewn across the floor, and then at Lu Jinshu. A wave of irritation swelling within me as my fingertips dug deeper into my palm. If I can't drink, what is the point? A slender hand appeared within my line of sight. Following the arm upward, it traversed over the shoulder and neck, alighting upon the pronounced Adam's apple, ultimately resting on those alluring lips. I swept aside the empty bottles before seizing Lu Jinshu's collar, pulling him closer. I pressed my lips against his. My hand cradled the back of his neck, drawing him nearer. My breathing grew heavier, and my tongue began to tingle. The sensation of near asphyxiation was exhilarating. A force propelled me backward, and in that fleeting moment, Lu Jinshu withdrew his lips. Breathe deeply, take a moment. I paid no heed to his words. Clinging to his neck, I leaned in and whispered breathily in his ear, "Do you want it?" One of my hands trailed down his abdomen. Just as I made contact, he seized my hand and pulled it away. "Are you prepared?" Lu Jinshu's body reacted far less calmly than his voice betrayed. I wrenched my hand free and burrowed into his clothing. "Let us proceed directly." My wandering hand was abruptly yanked out. Lu Jinshu grasped my other hand and pinned it to my head. "If we go straight to it, you will experience pain." "I welcome it," I replied. With a sudden lightness, Lu Jinshu lifted me up to sit, enveloping me from behind. The fire within me was extinguished in an instant. The feeling of irritation surged once again. "Lu Jinshu, you clearly do not concern yourself." I struggled against his arms. "If you do not want this, then leave." Yet he tightened his hold. "Release me." The pressure upon my body did not relent in the slightest. Lu Jinshu's voice was low, devoid of emotion. "Yanhui, you do not truly wish to be with me. Your lack of reaction speaks volumes." I brushed his hand away. After a moment of stalemate, I ultimately surrendered, leaning back against his shoulder. "As long as you're content." Lu Jinshu whispered softly in my ear about the restaurant he had chosen, the films he had recently watched, and the flower shop at the hospital's entrance. The warmth radiating from him was soothing. I could not discern his words. The overhead light flickered uncomfortably. I was compelled to close my eyes. "Lu Jinshu, you are quite loud." My cheek was gently touched. "Do you wish to sleep? If I fall asleep, will you leave?" "I shall not. I will cling to you." The next morning at 10, Lu Jinshu truly kept his word, remaining at my home. "Are you not going to the hospital for work?" He guided me to the dining table, presenting a bowl of congee and several small dishes. "The hospital is my establishment. A few days' absence is inconsequential." "Oh, you fear I might take drastic measures." Lu Jinshu chuckled helplessly, studying me intently. "Am I overthinking this?" I lifted the congee bowl and took a hearty sip. "Indeed, I shall not leap from buildings, nor will I self-harm." After a few more generous sips, I set the empty bowl aside. "You may go to work without worry. There are many who require your assistance." A faint crease appeared on Lu Jinshu's brow. "Yanhui, do you not need me?" I shook my head, offering a smile. "Go to work. Thank you for last night." I escorted him to the door. The moment I closed it, the turmoil in my stomach erupted uncontrollably, and I dashed to the bathroom to purge completely. A cat's meow echoed behind me as I splashed water on my face. I cradled the furry creature in my arms, sinking wearily to the ground. "I apologize, little furball. The Lu Jinshu you admire has been chased away by me." I fell into a slumber until 4 in the afternoon. My phone was inundated with missed calls and messages, predominantly from Yenju. "Brother, are you truly not returning to the company?" The screen was filled with such messages, accompanied by a multitude of crying emojis. "I will not return. From now on, you shall handle the company's affairs. If you have questions, seek out Yen Hongxing's assistant." Less than a minute after sending that, Yenju called. "Brother, you finally answered. Is there something you need?" "Ah, yes, brother. This morning, representatives from the Shin Group came to negotiate, and Shin Jingshan threatened to acquire the company if he could not meet with you. I shall not meet him. As for the acquisition, you may handle that as you see fit." Seeing his panicked expression, I can surmise the situation. "Without you here, I fear I cannot manage the company effectively. Thus, I contemplated selling it to him. We can split the proceeds. Whether to sell or not, the decision rests with you. I do not desire the money. You must. Otherwise, I shall throw it at your doorstep." "Is there anything else?" "There is. But it is not pressing, just something amusing." During the negotiations this morning, Shin Jingshan was initially quite arrogant. Yet once I arrived, his demeanor softened. Afterward, he specifically stayed behind to thank me. I found it curious and asked him what he was thanking me for. Can you guess what he said? He thanked me for delivering him a cake and roses on his 18th birthday. "This is an egregious misunderstanding. I informed him that you were the one who instructed me to deliver it, and can you believe how he reacted?" Shin Jingshan nearly lost his balance, his face paling as he left. "Is there anything else?" "Nothing more, brother." "Very well, I shall hang up." Shin Jingshan is currently the only eligible heir of the Shin family. Yet he is, in fact, an illegitimate child raised abroad. When he was 17, his mother passed away, and he was brought back to the Shin household. On the eve of the eldest son's 20th birthday, as was tradition, a grand birthday banquet was held at home. Yenju and I were also invited. During the celebration, I overheard Mrs. Shun mention that tomorrow would be Shun Jingshan's 18th birthday. This birthday party was, in truth, partially for him. However, Shin Jingshan was nowhere to be found at the gathering, nor did anyone extend him well wishes. Feeling stifled indoors, I wandered into the garden. There, I spotted a solitary figure seated on a swing not far away. It was Shin Jingshan, and I thought to myself that an 18th birthday should not be overlooked. I messaged the driver to order a cake. The cake arrived at the side entrance, and on my way back, I passed a flower bed where the roses were in full bloom, glistening with the evening dew and exuding a delightful fragrance. I plucked a blossom effortlessly. Shin Jingshan remained seated on the swing, and as I pondered how to present the cake and flower, Yenju suddenly dashed out. "Brother, did you go to buy the cake? And roses too? Oh, your hand is bleeding." Yenju, with his cheerful disposition and sweet tongue, could engage anyone in conversation. He was the perfect candidate to deliver the gift. "Do you see that brother sitting on the swing over there? Tomorrow is his birthday. Could you please take the cake and flowers to him? Brother, are you not going?" I shook my finger. "No, I need to tend to my wound." "All right, brother. I will find you after I deliver them." Upon his return, Yenju informed me that he had delivered the items and simply said, "Happy birthday," before departing, not even remembering what the recipient looked like. As I contemplated Shin Jingshan during his vulnerable moment, I wondered whom he was gazing at through me. Now, I have my answer. That night, he etched Yenju into his heart. Yet, Yenju lived freely, traversing the world without a pause for anyone. At that time, I secretly mocked Shin Jingshan for his unrequited love, seeking me as a substitute. Little did I know, I was the one he could not attain. Around 9 o'clock in the evening, Lu Jinshu sent me a message. "I ordered a few dishes for you this morning and left them in the fridge. Have you eaten?" "I have." After lying down for another half an hour, I went to open the refrigerator, only to find 2 wilted vegetables. Glancing at my phone, I noticed Lu Jinshu had not replied. Disappointment washed over me, but perhaps it was for the best. I tidied up the fridge. The garbage needed to be taken out as well. As I opened the door, a figure crouched against the wall sprang to his feet. It was Shin Jingshan, looking disheveled and reeking of alcohol. He took a few steps forward, allowing me to see his bloodshot eyes and bruised cheekbones. "Yanhui," he murmured, lowering his gaze, his voice hoarse, as if he had transformed into another person. He stared at me in silence for a long time before tremblingly asking, "Is the blood on the rose branch yours?" I forgot. He took another step forward, a bleak smile on his face. "Do you regret it?" I did not respond, my gaze drifting into the void. The outcomes of many situations are seldom attributable to a single cause. Just as I was about to circumvent him, a thud echoed. Shin Jingshan had knelt before me. "Yanhui, I'm sorry. It was strange." His gesture only made me feel uncomfortable. "Get up, Shin Jingshan. What we had was merely a transaction. We are already even." Shin Jingshan bowed his head, his shoulders trembling slightly as he repeatedly uttered, "I'm sorry." The words fell into my ears but stirred no emotions within me. As I prepared to leave, he called out, "Yanhui, I visited Lu Jinshu's hospital today. I found out you had been admitted there for 2 days. Can you tell me why?" Shin Jingshan looked up at me, his eyes filled with pleading. I averted my gaze. I had a fetus removed. A warmth spread across my lower abdomen as Shin Jingshan's palm grazed it. His touch was light, yet trembled slightly. His lips quivered, his voice cracking with emotion. "The fetus, how could it be? How could I have?" The suppressed sobs began to rise. Shin Jingshan hunched over, recounting many of the things he had done in the past, admitting he should not have, calling himself a bastard, and apologizing to me. The agitation within me swelled. Countless memories surged forth, intertwining chaotically. My mind felt ensnared in a colossal web, rendering me incapable of thought or focus. I was uncertain of what to do. My heart was in turmoil, as if something was dragging me down into an endless abyss. "Yanhui, hit me, curse at me, please just hit me," Shin Jingshan implored, grasping my hand and guiding it toward his face. My ears were filled with indistinct sounds. I gasped for air, akin to a fish thrown into the desert. I wished to escape, to scream aloud, yet I found myself immobilized, seemingly unable to control my own body. What to do, what to do, what to do. Suddenly, the light before me vanished. A large hand covered my eyes, and I was enveloped in an embrace. My fingers were forcibly pried from my palms. My body shook, indistinguishable of whose it was. My voice trembled. Yanhui, close your eyes, take a deep breath. If you want to cry, let it out. If you want to scream, do so. Don't think of anything else. I'm here. I'll always be with you. Kisses brushed against my temples, and I was held tightly. Lu Jinshu? I'm here. Lu Jinshu. I'm here. Lu Jinshu. I'm here. I found myself unable to cry or scream. Lu Jinshu led me back inside, closed the door, and then stepped out again. The sounds of punches and kicks echoed, followed by Lu Jinshu's voice, laced with anger, warning Shen Jingshan never to seek me out again. After a while, Lu Jinshu returned and found me sitting at the door. He crouched down beside me and gently brushed the corners of my eyes, saying, Yanhui, it's okay to cry when you feel unwell. I don't want to. Then what do you wish to do? I turned my gaze, meeting his deep, soulful eyes. I don't know. Time passed, and Lu Jinshu let out a soft sigh. I'm going downstairs to buy something. Remember to let me in. 9876. Lu Jinshu turned back. The code. When Lu Jinshu returned, I was still sitting at the door. He guided me to the dining table, unpacking a box of milk and a sandwich. Eat something. I don't want to. Finish it and then we'll do something. I stared at him in silence. After a moment of stalemate, Lu Jinshu took a sip of the milk himself. Then he brought it closer to my lips. After several attempts, the box of milk was nearly empty. Lu Jinshu placed a bag in my lap and bent down to lift me into the room. Once by the bed, the items in my arms were taken away. He began to undress, leaning down to kiss me fervently, but not hurriedly. His lips traveled to my ear, then along my neck, the warmth of his palm radiating throughout. Finally, they settled in a tender spot. Lu Jinshu gently guided my hand to his shoulder, his voice low and husky. Darling, just being close to you excites me. I shifted my toes against his hip bone. That's enough. I want to. Lu Jinshu's abdomen tightened. I wrapped my arms around his neck and closed my eyes. It indeed hurt, but pain could awaken one's senses. It was the sole clarity amidst the fog in my mind. Moreover, the pain Lu Jinshu brought was not one I wished to escape. I felt like a fragile boat tossed upon a tumultuous sea. Lu Jinshu was that ocean, with waves crashing fiercely, lifting me high into the heavens. After several cycles of rise and fall, he gently cradled me back into his embrace. Delicate kisses fell upon my eyelids, the tip of my nose, my cheeks. Beyond the pain, new sensations coursed along my spine, transmitting signals to my brain. The fog in my mind gradually dissipated, and my lost focus converged upon Lu Jinshu. I was aware of my actions, using him to obscure certain memories.
I'm sorry, Lu Jinshu.
Afterward, Lu Jinshu carried me to the bathroom. Upon returning, he tucked me into bed and embraced me from behind. Yanhui, tomorrow I will take you to meet a friend. All right? All right. The friend Lu Jinshu introduced me to was a psychologist. The consultation room was suffused with a gentle fragrance, exuding tranquility and warmth. Mr. Yen, Lu Jinshu has shared some of your basic circumstances with me. We are old friends, so if you don't mind, you can consider me a friend as well. All right, then let us begin. Dr. Li posed numerous questions, all of which I answered in turn. Yanhui, your emotions are far too muted, almost non-existent, which does not align with your experiences. This situation arises because the pain within you has accumulated too much, affecting your normal life. Your mind has activated its self-protection mechanism, severing many of your bodily sensations and sealing away your emotions. This state of seclusion is not permanent. It is merely the time our minds afford us to reach out for help. When the day of closure draws to a close, the anguish will rebound with a vengeance. And by then, you may find that you truly care for nothing at all. I lowered my head and laughed indifferently. It seems I don't care about much at the moment. You do, Dr. Li replied, smiling as he gazed at me before turning his attention to the view outside the window. Not far away, in the flower bed, stood a lush camphor tree, beneath which a tall figure was stationed. Dressed in a black coat, he held an unlit cigarette between his slender fingers. The gentle breeze stirred the edges of his coat, yet it failed to smooth the furrow of his brow. It was Lu Jinshu. Do I care about him? The fact that you listened to him and came here speaks volumes. As if sensing our conversation, Lu Jinshu turned to look at us. The moment our gazes met, his brows unfurled, and a smile graced his lips. After a prolonged silence, I redirected my gaze. Dr. Lee, what should I do? First, you must endeavor to release your emotions. How do I do that? Do you know what a child's first reaction is when they feel pain? They cry. Exactly. Adults can do the same. Tears are a powerful form of healing. They serve as a conduit for emotions. It is better to release than to repress. If you cease to stifle yourself and accept my guidance, allowing your pent-up emotions to gradually surface, then we will have succeeded halfway. For the next half hour, Dr. Lee spoke while I listened. Strangely, with each deep breath, the heat in my eyes intensified. I found myself instinctively glancing outside. Lu Jinshu still stood there, focusing intently on me, forming words with his lips while smiling. My vision began to blur. I could not discern what he was saying. My eyelids grew heavy with tears, and as I shut them, a tingling sensation spread across my face. Am I crying? The moment that thought crossed my mind, tears cascaded down like an uncontrollable flood. My chest heaved violently as I gasped for breath, instinctively clutching my heart. It felt as though 1,000 steel needles were stirring within. Is this what it means to release emotions? Tears flowed and ceased, then flowed again. My head throbbed, and my eyes ached. I covered my eyes, attempting to regain my composure. After a while, my hands were gently removed, and my face met the warmth of a familiar chest. The scent at my nose was comforting. Where is Dr. Lee? Time's up. He has finished for the day. Lu Jinshu rested his chin atop my head, slowly caressing my back. How do you feel? Exhausted. A kiss brushed the corner of my eye. You've worked hard, Yan Hui. A week later, Yan Zhu informed me that he had indeed sold the company to Jingshan. However, Jingshan had accidentally transferred an additional 500 million during the remittance. Brother, he also asked me to convey that he will manage the company on your behalf. You're welcome to return whenever you wish, and he has prepared a letter of commitment for you. Should I bring it? No need, let us find a suitable opportunity to return it to him. As for the money from the sale of the company, we agreed to split it evenly, and the amount is quite substantial. He'll transfer it to you within 3 days. Yanju, what is it, brother? Take 500 million and donate it to a school or a medical institution. The remainder you keep for yourself. There was a moment of silence on the other end of the line. Brother, are you still angry with Dad? No. Then are you angry with me? No. Then why, Yanju, you will always be my brother. Take care of yourself. The course of psychological therapy had passed its midpoint. During this time, I accompanied Lu Jinshu through a sensitive period. He had taken an inhibitor in advance, and I did not feel particularly distressed. It was the first time I experienced his pheromones, warm and rich, reminiscent of ebony. It was quite comforting. He also invited me to his home for a meal. It was then that I discovered the renowned Shinmao technology belonged to his family. Lu Jinshu's father exuded the charm of an erudite businessman, while his mother was warm and capable. It was a delightful household. After dinner, we chatted for a while. Lu's father recounted many stories from Lu Jinshu's childhood. Jinshu has always been resolute in his ambitions. When he declared his intent to study medicine, his mother and I spent 3 days trying to dissuade him, but to no avail. Lu Jinshu whispered in my ear, I regret it. Lu's mother continued, Yan Hui, the past is the past. You are still so young, with a bright future ahead of you. Auntie knows that many companies have extended olive branches to you. If you don't mind, why not consider joining Shinmao? Your father and I cannot rely on Jinshu. If you come into our family, we can retire early, she added. Lu Jinshu's expression darkened slightly. Dad, Mom, Yan Hui coming to our family means enjoying life. Besides, my earnings can support him. You two should stop making plans for him. I patted the back of Lu Jinshu's hand and smiled. Uncle, Auntie, thank you for your kindness. I will seriously consider the opportunity with Shinmao. This Saturday, as per routine, I visited the psychological clinic. Afterward, as I approached the door, I spotted Lu Jinshu's Lincoln parked by the roadside. Upon seeing me, he hurried over. How do you feel today? The sun shone brightly, and I squinted, replying, not bad. He drew closer to embrace me and planted a kiss on my cheek, whispering, wonderful. After getting into the car, Lu Jinshu did not rush to drive away. What's wrong? I asked, noticing his nervous demeanor.
Yan Hui,
Where do you think our relationship stands? After a moment of contemplation, I replied, we kissed, shared a bed, met your parents. Wouldn't that make us boyfriends? Then, would you consider becoming my beloved? A moment of silence passed. I smiled softly. Then, for your future sensitive periods, you might need to take an inhibitor in advance. Lu Jinshu gazed at me quietly, his eyes gradually reddening. Suddenly, he leaned in and embraced me tightly. Thank you, darling. After a while, he released me. I have 3 things to give you. Lu Jinshu handed me a stock transfer document. The first item is from my father. I glanced through it, 15 equity. The shares are not contingent upon joining Xinmao. The position reserved for you is CEO. They would be delighted if you choose to join us. And if you decide not to, these shares are still a gift from my parents. He then handed me a jade bracelet. My mother asked me to give this to you. It was a gift from her grandmother when she got married. She says jade is nurturing, and you should wear it at home. As he spoke, he slid the bracelet onto my wrist. The size fits perfectly. It looks lovely. Lu Jinshu held my hand and produced a small square box. The last item is from me. As the box opened, a pair of platinum diamond rings lay inside. He picked up the smaller one and slipped it onto my left ring finger. Yan Hui, will you help me put on the other one? Coming back to my senses, my hand trembled slightly as I held the ring. Lu Jinshu's fingertip brushed gently beneath my eye. The ring warmed in my grasp. I inhaled deeply, partially clasping his hand, and slowly pushed the ring over his knuckle until it settled perfectly at the base. Lu Jinshu, is this a betrothal gift? Lu Jinshu's lips curled into a slight smile. Not quite. These 3 items are our way of expressing affection for you. As for the betrothal gift, my parents are considering handing the company over to you, and I have a hospital under my name. How does that sound? I could not help but break into laughter. Let me present you with the betrothal gifts. You shall come adorned with your dowry. Lu Jinshu raised an eyebrow slightly and replied, very well. The urban landscape gently receded. I have the afternoon free. Where would you like to go next? Let us return home. Agreed, let us go home. The end of the tale. Thank you for listening, and until we meet again in the next story.